Well, hello everyone. I am Finest Mammon. You may also just call me Mammon. I'm the proprietor and the barkeep of the Fourth Circle. Just as an introduction, I usually stream over at twitch.tv/Finest Mammon. Um, but uh, today work has kind of got me, a little bit, a little bit constrained on time. I was gonna stream what I'm doing right now, but because I'm time constrained, I want to focus on this. I wanted to yap today. I wanted to yap specifically about Wuthering Waves, as we have the 2.3 patch that's been kind of gone through. We're almost through the patch, and we now have the survey for it. Um, so I wanted to yap about the patch as a whole while I did the survey, just because I have a lot of feedback for it, like a lot of feedback. So I wanted to do a more focused yap session. Hence why we're doing a recording today rather than doing this on stream. So I'm gonna hop into my mail. I got my letter here from Yang Yang. As I write this letter to you at my desk, my mind wanders with the wind. I look up to see the trees swaying in the breeze. Up in the blue sky yonder, fluffy clouds drift. The cry of seagulls is gone, replaced by the song of cicadas. It is only at this moment that I realize summer's here, and a year has passed since we first met. This letter is for you as much as it is for me. These words, committed to paper, whisk me back to our first meeting from a year ago and hearken to endless possibilities of the years to come. What will our next years be like? Complete the player satisfaction survey, receive token of gratitude, blah, blah, blah. So there's a link to the survey here. We're going to do that. Let me claim the mail first, get my 5K in shell credits, and then we're gonna pop them the questionnaire, because I have a lot of things to say about this patch, and I'm gonna kind of sound off on it as I go through it, just because there's like different sections usually to these surveys that say like, hey, do you like this part of it? Do you like this character or this element of the game right now? Do you have additional feedback? That kind of thing. And I wanted to just go through it bit by bit. So we're going to go in and we're going to start the survey. Hit next page. So first question saying, so far, how would you rate your overall experience in Wuthering Waves version 2.3? And new content version 2.3 includes a special event, the Cube. It was like that cube building event thing, in Anniversary. Cube, Cubic, and Cubie. Companion story, Blaze in the Dark. Your Summer Never Wither. And then Resonator, Zani, and Chacona. I would say overall, I'm dissatisfied. I think the event quest saved it a decent bit, but this patch was so dry because like the events were kind of boring. The rewards just like weren't there to pull you in. Like Zani is a lot of fun to play, but we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna mark this as somewhat dissatisfied. I'm not entirely on the very dissatisfied, but there are elements that I'm specifically very dissatisfied by. We'll get to those, but so based on our experience in the current version, how satisfied are you with the following? Story, I was overall I'd say I was overall pretty satisfied. You know, world story was solid. Companion story and the story quest was actually pretty good. Your Summer Will Never Wither actually really should have been just a main story quest rather than the event quest that it was. But it is what it is. World exploration, there really wasn't much of it, to be honest with you. I mean, I know because it's a filler patch that there's not like a new map or anything, but even still, kind of just there. Environment and visuals, yeah, overall satisfied. I mean, I guess neutral would be a better way to put it, because there really wasn't much that was new. The new stuff was all right, but I wouldn't call myself satisfied by it. And then music was actually like pretty solid. With all the new tracks that they released for between the companion story and the story quest. Chacona was very like musically inspired. And I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like if you have a Bard resonator, like any music that's associated with them has to be good. So, and it ended up being that way. So they didn't disappoint. So I'm gonna say I'm overall satisfied there. Performance optimizations. I'm satisfied. I think just performance has been good. I'm not losing my mind right now. It's not like it was bad or anything, but you know, there's definitely fine tunings they can make. Resonator visuals. I'm really satisfied with the new design with the designs. I love Zani, and I've been waiting for her since she came out. Since she was first revealed. Her design is just fantastic. Like it's really easy to make, you know, conventionally attractive characters that like are revealing and whatever. But like Zani is very good, looks great, and for the most part is decently well covered, actually. Which, you know, you can make attractive characters and not be like, oh man, I'm gonna sexualize them to high hell. There's just like that little bit that leaves you to your imagination. You know, the strongest button in the universe, so to speak. And her resonator form's really cool too. Basically makes her turn into like a Super Saiyan. So I thought it was cool. Resonator building, it's neutral. We're gonna get to that because it's just my continued gripes with the ecosystem and how much I don't like it. And combat, I think I'm always very satisfied with combat in this game. This is like my favorite gacha game for a reason. There's just a lot of depth to it. So I don't think I'll ever like not mark it as this unless they really genuinely screw up something like fundamentally. So co-op experience, I didn't really do much co-op, I don't think. I think I'm ambivalent on it. Like I did some at the end of the cube event for level 21 because that level's hard as shit solo. But it's fine. UI design, I'm neutral on. I think it's really more UX than UI. Like the UI is fine. It's just certain like UX things about the UI of like the experience of actually using it is kind of where it's like falls apart in certain aspects. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna say I'm dissatisfied with it because of Dreaming Deep. We're gonna get to it. Events and challenges. This is bad. This is the part where I'm like, no, 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 no. Especially when we get to really talk about Dreaming Deep. I'm very dissatisfied with the events this go around. Like this patch just felt really dry because like there wasn't a lot to do, and like what there was to do wasn't that great. So I would genuinely say events wise, this is easily the worst patch we've ever had. And like that's in comparison to like 1.2 and 1.4, which were both pretty bad. So the fact that they screwed this up so hard is like something, especially on an anniversary patch, no less. Let's see. What do you think the amount of playable content? And it's asking you whether the content is like adequate enough, and if the amount of time that you got to spend on it was like enough or too little or too much. And I think this is hard because I think the actual usable content is like, or the actual playable content kind of sucks, to be honest. And a lot of it is just like wasted time. But and then like between like the QB Derby 2, like that was just like a nothing burger event. There was just barely any events to begin with. So I'm gonna say it was too small and playtime was too short. So how satisfied are you with data modification? Oh, this is for the echo modifiers for main stats. It's like I think the theory is fine. I think it's better than them doing the whole what's it called? Can't think of it. The malleable echo boxes. I think this is a better way of doing that because it applies to every echo, and you can just choose whatever stat you want to put on it. But I do wish there was more of them. I would say like it has its uses, but I'm not like the uses aren't fully there. It just depends. So I'm a little neutral on it at the moment. So for me, why was it not as satisfactory? I think, like I said, it's mostly just the quantity of modifiers that we receive is too few, even if you are a paid battle pass subscriber and do any relevant events. Yeah, and that's due to that's due to RNG. Like we need more ways to mitigate RNG, like not just in main stats but also substats. RNG still being heavily present in substat rolls on echoes, so sometimes modifiers feel useless if the echo you roll doesn't have the right substats. And I'll just say, Teal'c, we need to need a substat selector, like in Genshin. As much as I don't like comparing to Genshin, this is like one of the things that I think Genshin does right. Is the substat selectors that they have, where you can use an item and you can have it pick a substat for you, or you use some other quantity of the items to get two. So it basically helps you like guarantee double crit on your artifact rolls. So I think, yeah, if we just had a substat selector, the modifiers would be significantly more useful and more heavily mitigate echo RNG, and thus modifiers will be far more useful to players. Yeah, I think that's gonna be that's just gonna be feedback I always leave on this, but we really need substat. We need substat selectors. It's a big deal. And I've been crying for that since like day one. And I'm surprised they didn't add something for it for anniversary. We only got main stat. We really need substat selectors. The biggest thing that we need in WoWa. How satisfied with you are on birthday blessing? It hasn't been my birthday yet, so I haven't experienced it yet. I've heard it's cool though. How satisfied are you with, oh, no cooldown for boss fights? This was great. This is fantastic. I'm glad they implemented this feature. It took them way too long to do it, but I'm very happy about it because it makes like farming for materials faster, and farming for like boss echoes faster too. So like you're not having to be like, oh, I gotta go on a 2-minute cooldown and go fight another boss to reset my like echo pity or whatever. It's just, you just keep farming the boss, and like you don't have to go anywhere. The boss just respawns and you're good. So I really like this. I really like this feature. I'm glad they put it in. Been a huge boon. How satisfied with you are on the glossary? Oh, the glossary. So that's like anytime that they like in dialogue they put in like a quote unquote like proper noun or like jargon, you can hover over the jargon and then it'll bring up like a little browser deal that tells you what the jargon is, which I think is good. It makes the story easier to follow along to. If you like don't remember what a term means, then you can just bring it up and be like, oh, that's what this means. Okay. So I like it. I think it's fine. There could be, I think sometimes they could add more to it, like have some more of the quote unquote jargon being linked to. So hopefully they expand on this. But I do think it's good. How satisfied are you with access to announcements during updates? Oh, this feature. Okay. I don't actually like this feature. Because I haven't found a way to turn it off. Basically, whenever you log into the game, it like automatically pops up the announcements, and like I'm fine with accessing them, but they pop up like on boot, and it's really annoying. Um, so I'd say I'm dissatisfied with it. It's nice to have the access to it though. I haven't. Let me see. The announcements pop up every time I update. It's because they automatically pop up uh, without me um, without me requesting the announcements with an input. So I have to close them every time. I'd like an option to turn that off, or if it does not already exist. I haven't actually looked for it, but it's like if it doesn't already exist, then it needs to be implemented, because it's definitely infuriating every time I open it during an update. So I'll have to check that out. Let me see. How satisfied are you with the new titles? This is we got new titles for characters that, if you fully unlock a resonance chain, which is like if you max out their copies of a resonator, then you get a title for it, which I think is cool. It's cute. It's it's just a little cosmetic thing. And they're animated, like they're fine. Like, or at least the 5-star ones are. The 4-star ones aren't. And I wish they were. I get why they're not, but it would be nice if they were. So I'm gonna say I'm overall satisfied. See, how satisfied are you with the version 2.3 bundles? Oh, they added new bundles to this. And they were like anniversary specific. Which like most of them I don't really care about, except for like the ones that give you pulls. And the ones that they gave on anniversary were actually some of the best value we've seen in the game, and I really wish those would be standard. Like, would be the standard for what we do, because I would spend way more on this game if we had more of them. Because then, like, I feel like the pulls would actually be much more worth your money. So, I would say, I'm neutral on it. I'd say I'm neutral on it. So I liked the new anniversary pull bundles, the $3 USD one and the $20 USD one, since they gave much more value for the money you spent. However, there weren't enough of them. Yeah, because I would have liked more of them. And that bundle should be the standard for polls per dollar spent going forward. If so, I would spend more money on this game for sure. You see, how satisfied are you with the Pioneer podcast? Oh, the Insider channel. So we had a new one. A new, like, it's basically they upgraded the leveling rewards from the pass. So you had, what was it? You had now, instead of like a bunch of shell credits at the end, for example, they gave you these packs that where you could choose what resource you wanted to get from them. And I think that's really helpful in particular because you can prioritize like, hey, do I need character experience? Do I need weapon experience? Do I need shell credits, echo experience, that kind of thing. And they also made it so any new weapon boxes you could just convert into tuners. So I think it's a much needed upgrade to the battle pass in terms of leveling rewards. I do wish though that we had better battle pass weapons. I think that's still kind of a stickler for me. And then for people that are free to play, the fact that it like pops up telling you to subscribe to it now is kind of annoying. So I'm gonna call it neutral, and I'll describe why it wasn't satisfactory, but also say, hey, I really liked the new upgrades. It's just, would like better battle pass weapons and not have a pop up if you aren't subscribed to it. So really liked the new level upgrades, especially the resource packs that we get at certain levels of the podcast. However, we do need better battle pass weapons. And we also need, and I would also like for players that haven't spent on the Insider channel to not get frequent pop-ups to subscribe to it, because that makes them less likely to do so. The value of the pass should be what gets players to subscribe, not in your face type of marketing like it is now. Yeah, because I think it's just a little too much. So you're not gonna convert free to play players into low spenders by being that aggressive with them. Like it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really make any sense. But it is what it is. How satisfied are you? The anniversary okay, so they did like a bunch of reruns basically for anniversary, which a lot of people weren't happy about. Like, here's my thing with it though, is that I think more reruns in general is good. The fact that they call it an anniversary resonator convene and then didn't do anything to make it feel special, like enhanced rates or like giving a guarantee for like the first one that you pull, like stuff like that. Like they didn't do anything to make it more enticing to pull on. It's just the fact that the resonators are there to begin with is all it is. So I think they really needed to make it special, I guess. Is the way I'm gonna put it. So I'm neutral on this too. Did I participate? Yes, and I got the resonators I wanted. So why did I convene? So for Judja, I didn't manage to acquire her. She was a character I kind of wanted, but I didn't get around to pulling. So I ended up just pulling her anyway. That was fine. It was the same deal. She can enhance my combat performance. It's the same deal with my Chongli's S6 as well. That's a big part of the reason why I pulled on hers as well. They fit in my favorite team comps, and they're strong for battle, resonance node chain activations, and visual design. So Like that's where I'm at on these. I still pulled on it, but I do think that again, there are definite improvements to make. So, how satisfied are you with the anniversary convene? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I didn't really pull on it that much. So, okay, so now we're at the final part of the survey, and this is where I get to sound off because we're gonna sound off big time on Dreaming Deep, like big time. I actually have like a whole deal specifically with all of my feedback. I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit. Let me see. Make it a little bit bigger. And zoom in. I can just do. There we go. Okay. That should hopefully be a little bit bigger, but there's a big chunk of this where it's just Dreaming Deep. It's just Dreaming Deep feedback because I have a lot to say about that event in particular. I really don't like it. For people that are unaware, Dreaming Deep, they touted it as an upgrade to an event people really liked back in version 1. It was called Depths of Elusive Realms. And that event was a roguelike, sort of. Basically, the idea is you took a single resonator into a run, and you would enhance them every time you went through like different rooms, right? And as you went through the rooms, you know, you would get things like metaphors, which would just be like base upgrades to your characters. You know, it could be extra attack or crit damage, or maybe you get like a extra attack effect, like every time you did something in particular, you know. Like there was one that I really liked that was like shoot a bunch of meteors like every time you did damage, and I thought that was really cool. And then you also had character enhancements too, where like it would modify the character's kit directly, and that made the resonators you were playing as feel really powerful because they could do things that not even S6 characters could do. Like how Chongli, if you released her heavy attack, like her big forte nuke, Flaming Sacrifice, for a set amount of time after that, one of her enhancements would say, every basic attack, you'll do additional damage that's equal to True Sight Conquest. So you just, like, it would just add True Sight Conquest to every single basic attack you did. And that was really cool. And a lot of characters had really cool enhancements too. I know, like, how Kuro ended up feeling like a, whatchamacallit, he ended up feeling like a Devil May Cry character if you got his enhancements. It was kind of crazy. And people really liked this. They really liked Depths of Elusive Realms, right? Because it made them feel really powerful. They got to invest into it like a single character. It wasn't team focused. Like you still got concerto companions where you could like cast like intro skills and stuff. But the main thing was you focused on the one character you had. And so when in the 2.1 live stream, when Kuro was like, "Hey, we're gonna make these characters. We're improving on Elusive Realm and bringing it back soon." People were like, "Oh, cool! Like we're really excited." And then they did that in 2.3. They brought the event called Dreaming Deep, but we didn't get the event until the second half of the patch. And when we got the event, it was really bad. It was like really, really bad. Because it was really slow. Upgrades were really disjointed. Like there was a whole slew of stuff wrong with it. And I'm gonna go through kind of my main points on this one by one, which are here specifically. It's these ones because I have a lot to say about it. So to start with, the way that you explore in Dreaming Deep, you don't go from room to room. You're instead placed on like a game board, and you have to go across the game board to different events where it would be like, okay, you go to a campfire and you stay the night and gain film rolls back, or you would have like a random event that would give you like an extra enhancement or something, or maybe you would go to a resonator recruitment deal. The problem is navigating across this takes so long, and likewise, and I think this should really be higher up. This last one, give me a second. There we go. This last one should be more lumped in with this. The presentation of Dreaming Deep is such a slog because it is a massive wall of text, and ain't nobody got time to read that. Like it's just really poorly presented, and if you tried to actually take it all in, it would take you forever to finish. And just doing the stages on their own, trying to complete them fully, takes like, it can take upwards of like 30 minutes to an hour. Like these stages take forever to do, and navigating across the game board is really cumbersome. Getting anywhere takes a really long time. So I have some main fixes for that, or suggestions anyway. So the first one is that the walking animation, trying to get from one point to another, it takes way too long to do. Way too long. Like you just kind of, the character kind of just slowly walks across all the tiles. And if you have to go from one place to another, sometimes that can take upwards of like 10-15 seconds, depending on where you have to go. And all of that adds up, especially when you have to confirm where you're going to. You have to hit proceed instead of just clicking where you want to go and just going there. So all of that just takes way too long. So we need speed ups and or like skips for walking animations. So that way you just get to where you want to go and doesn't take that long. And also removing the like prompt to proceed to whatever tile you're going to would be a huge time saver, because again, you're having to move a lot in Dreaming Deep. So anything that saves time is gonna really help. That would easily shave off like probably at least like 5 to 10 minutes off any given run, just by like giving you the ability to skip the walking animations and to not have to not have to click twice to confirm where you're going. It's just too many steps, and the steps take too long to do. So it just feels extremely cumbersome to play. And likewise, even navigating across the game board too is kind of a pain in the ass, because you have to use, if you're on a controller especially, navigating is a pain, because you have to use the sticks, both sticks actually, to figure out exactly where it is you're gonna go. Because you use the right stick to pan across the game board, and you use the left stick to move your cursor, and doing that is kind of painful. I would like an option where you can just like select your character and select the path that you're going across, kind of like in Fire Emblem. If you just need to move a short distance, then like that way I'm not having to fiddle around with like all of the controls. It just is one, and that's all I need. So I would much rather have something like that. And then on top of all of that, the presentation is also just it's dull. It's a slog because it's massive walls of text. Like every single event is basically an essay in Dreaming Deep, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that, right? It's just every single thing. It's like you have multiple entries in a single deal, even like on a little campfire event that is the same thing every time. It's a massive essay to read if you wanted to actually read it. And they really need to change how they present everything in Dreaming Deep. So something like a graphic novel, a comic, a manga, something like that, to give like more of a visual rather than like describing everything would be an enormous help. And probably like honestly probably wouldn't take nearly as long to both like produce and then localize too. So you'd spend a lot less time localizing than you would just creating the manga and then like localizing some little speech bubble sometimes. But yeah, they need to redo the way that Dreaming Deep is presented because it is absolutely it's such a bore. So that'd be this one is a pretty big deal I think for a lot of people. Like that's why I skip all the text. I don't even care about the story in Dreaming Deep. And like normally I'm slightly invested into what's happening in Somme Noir. But with this one I do not care like at all. Um then moving on to like a lot of the actual gameplay itself. To me there's two major things that or it really falls under a single umbrella. But it's the fact that the entire upgrade system is incredibly disjointed. Because in Elusive Realm, like I said, you'd pick one character and you'd focus on that character and give them metaphors that would enhance them and enhancements that add additional things to their kit. And it made you feel really powerful. But in Dreaming Deep, what happens instead is that you can pick any sets of resonators and you pick one to play, but you can swap them out at any time. And then whenever you go get upgrades, you're getting upgrades from the resonator recruitment shop to increase your synergy level, which is a fine concept in theory, like is the more resonators you recruit, you know, the better off that whatever synergies that they work with will be. The problem though is that by the end of it, you don't end up feeling very powerful because you're not getting much in terms of actual like character enhancements, like direct enhancements. It's just whatever the synergy level does, and that's it. So you kind of just feel like, like I wasted an hour of my time to not feel very powerful, to actually feel less powerful sometimes than the characters that you're using in the main game, and that's really bad. Like it misses the mark of what Elusive Realm is entirely. So and likewise, you have a very limited selection of metaphors in Dreaming Deep, and the ones that you get are mostly pretty useless because they're like very hyper specific, and they don't line up with like whatever. They literally don't line up with any of the characters you're using at all. So it's just like, you know, why bother? Like I'd rather do anything else. So, to me, they need to go back to how they were doing it in normal Elusive Realm, where it's you pick a resonator, you get metaphors, you get character enhancements for the character you picked, and you call it a day. And like they can weave that into the Concerto Companions too. You can still keep those because I do like the synergy burst thing that they have. I do like the like the cut-ins and stuff. I think that's a really cool concept. And having some of the buffs be behind the synergy bursts is cool. But the problem is that like it doesn't feel like a direct enhancement to what you're doing. So rather than having whenever you recruit characters, you have to pick their enhancements. Rather than that, just make it so the characters you recruit come with a set of 3 metaphors where you pick one of them, just like in normal Elusive Realm again. That would be an enormous bonus, I think, and it would make it so you actually want to consider who you're recruiting and like what metaphors they give you, rather than just like, oh hey, I'm just gonna pick this character because they level my synergy burst and then ignore whatever enhancement they give me. Like it's not relevant. So, And then likewise, replacing the current metaphor tiles, because they have like dedicated metaphor tiles, replace them with character enhancement tiles. So that way you have a direct reason to go after those tiles rather than useless metaphors that you just don't care about. So that is a change I'd really like to see. And I hope they actually take some time and, cook this a little further, because it's clear a lot of people aren't satisfied with it. And then my last major gripe, and I think this is the dumbest thing, is the endings in Dreaming Deep shouldn't be locked behind any kind of RNG. Like you should, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you should get the endings that you're going for. The biggest example that we have right now, and I'm hoping that they don't add more of this, is in stage 3, which is the Black Shore stage. Two of the endings are locked behind you recruiting Shorekeeper, and you are not guaranteed to recruit Shorekeeper in a run. There are like 3 characters who you do guarantee in a run, or actually 4. There's 4, which are Lumi, Alto, Encore, and then Calcaro. You're guaranteed those 4. But you are not guaranteed Shorekeeper, and Shorekeeper is required to get 2 of the 3 endings that you need from that stage. So if you just straight up don't have Shorekeeper in your deal and she's not on trial, then sucks to suck, I guess. So that should not be a thing, and that needs to be taken out like ASAP. Because yeah, it's just, this entire event is just a mess, and they really need to. I would have liked them to just scrap it, but I think making changes like these would be smarter instead. That way it can maybe be salvageable and somewhat enjoyable, but we will see on that. And then the other things that I have on the patch, some of it is like anniversary related. Some of it is not so much. Some of it's just like general feedback. But in terms of like the actual anniversary, the rewards just weren't enough. Like, especially before we got the apologems that we got, or the apology polls. We got 30 polls, and that was like, actually, we didn't even get 30. Did we? Well, we got 10 polls, then like I think some astrite, and then we also got the Gilded Night Market thing, which was really a spending event in disguise. So it was not adequate at all for an anniversary, especially given the standards that WoWa had set for itself since launch, with multiple polls. We had 5-star character and weapon selectors, and we had also gotten a free Yao during 1.2. So people had higher expectations going in, and then WoWa just completely failed to meet them. And it wouldn't have cost them much to, just give out a pass limited character. And yet they just decided to be really greedy instead, and that it just felt really bad. And like I said before, they didn't make the anniversary banner feel like a special thing. So that was another big deal, and I actually want to add that too. So the anniversary banners didn't feel special either. And I will take that out. So yeah, it's just the anniversary just was not enough. And like as an overall patch, it was super dry. We needed more to do, and we needed more rewards to gain from it. So the fact that we just didn't get any of that, it was definitely a disappointment. Like, obviously I don't blame anybody that quits the game over it. And like, I'm still going to continue to play because obviously, I really enjoy this game, but it definitely left a sour taste in my mouth for sure. And then the other feedback items are just like general or just general things that I want to see. Like claim all buttons, we just need those on everything that has multiple claimable rewards. Again, this is a thing that has plagued this game since like the dawn of time. And some things have had claim all buttons added and some things haven't. We just need them everywhere. And then like I said in the modifier deal, we need a substat selector to mitigate RNG. This was something I expected this honestly to happen on anniversary, and it didn't. So I was pretty disappointed by that. Because substat RNG is like the #1 complaint players have had. And that needs to be addressed like ASAP. Because the ecosystem on a whole just has too much RNG to deal with. So I have to constantly just like hoard echo materials so that way I have enough to build out characters that I want. And that feels really bad. And then this is one I've been seeing a lot, and I fully agree with it. This next one is to add a mechanic that to prevent multiple 50-50 losses in a row. Just again, like if we have something like capturing radiance, where like the more 50-50 losses you incur, the higher chance that you have to trigger the capturing radiance, and I think it's like 4 losses in a row makes it so your next 50-50 you're guaranteed to win no matter what. So we need something like that just to mitigate it for players. So that way you don't have people like losing every 50-50 that they've ever had, that kind of thing. And that's something we needed like yesterday. So or something like how Do It Night Abyss does it, where you're guaranteed the first copy of a character that you get. And then other ones, like if you're going for sequences, those are on a 50-50. That kind of thing would be much appreciated. And then this is another major one. This next one is that new characters. So this came up with Zani specifically, where Zani felt crippled by not having, if you didn't have Phoebe, because Phoebe provided a lot of frazzle and frazzle damage amplification. So if you didn't have her, you were stuck with Spectre Rover, who like provides a decent amount of stuff, but just doesn't provide nearly the same amount that Phoebe does. So without Phoebe, you just don't have the damage and you don't have the comfort either. So it's just a lot of ick. Plus comfortable rotation. Let me make sure that. Okay, so now we have enough characters because they have a limit of 3,000. But yeah, we need more viable options if they're going to release characters that are this restrictive, right? Because otherwise, like, we want to be able to play our favorite characters with other characters, but when they're so locked to specific characters like this, it feels really bad. So, and it does affect my polling decisions too. So, having like Chongli, for example, has affected a lot of my polling decisions because I pulled Brant. I went for Yao, and I went for Yao's weapon because he works well with Chongli. I went with Carlotta because she could also work well with Chongli. It's just all around, like, we just need better options, and we don't really have them. Kind of unfortunate, really. So, and kind of on that note too, we need more 4-stars. We definitely need more 4-star characters. We don't need a ton of them. Like, Genshin releases a ton of them and has way too much 4-star bloat. And I like the smaller amount of 4-stars that Wuwa has because it means more corals for me. But we do need more options too that are more accessible for like different kinds of situations. So, but we need those characters to be kind of more on the level of like Sanhua and Mortefi, where they're very useful across multiple teams. because they're some of the strongest 4-stars we have, and we need more characters that are like them, less characters that are like Lumi and Tauchi and Yuan Wu, Alto, those kind of characters. Like we just need higher quality, more viable options. So now my last major thing is just involving characters more frequently in the story. Because we've been seeing them fix that a little bit more, where they like you're traveling with like a group of characters. You have like a party, so to speak, that happened during 2.0 and 2.2, where like you had multiple characters interacting with each other. But then you have like companion stories too, where it's only just you and the character in question, and the character in question doesn't interact with anyone else. It's just you, which I would prefer. I would prefer more quests that are styled like Chacona's, where you get to interact with some of the other characters sometimes. Like Carlotta was on our quest for a while, and I wish she would have stuck around more, but she just didn't, and that's kind of unfortunate. But I think having more quests like Chacona's would be great. But let me see if I can trim this down a little bit. Because I wanna add that part to that last one, saying that Chacona's quest is a decent example and build off of it. Chacona's quest is a good start. I'm gonna take this line out. And we need more options. Let me see. Certain 5-star items. There we go. Okay, that works out. So this should be right under the limit. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy all of this and put it into my feedback, and that'll be my major thing. So, and we'll go ahead and hit submit. And boop, survey done. Cool. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my yapping. Hopefully I wasn't too off focus. But we're working on it, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. You take care and have a good one.